Powell. As the president has consistently stated, the American economy is booming. And there were so many economic analysts who said that this president's policies would drive our economy down, when in fact we have seen the opposite. We've seen a massive deregulation campaign take place. We've seen inflation completely diminished from where it was under the reckless spending and the bad policies of the previous incompetent administration. I would remind the Fed chair, and I would remind the entire world, that this is a president who was a businessman first, and he knows what he is doing. He has a proven economic formula that worked in his first term as president, and it is working again. The one problem that remains is high interest rates for the American people. The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. And if you look at this chart, this is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies. And we will continue to drive down the cost of living in this country for Americans. We will continue to deregulate. And it's also incredibly important that we pass this one big, beautiful bill, which is the largest tax cuts in American history. And that's why the White House and the president himself have been in touch with lawmakers all weekend long to get this bill passed. And they are working very hard to do so. It remains a top priority for the president. And this bill has exposed the clear differences between Republicans and Democrats in 2025. The Democrats are doubling down on craziness and radical policies that are undermining the very fabric of our country. Just look at the Democrat nominee for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. He's a Democrat socialist, really a communist, who proudly calls to defund the police, peddles anti-Semitism, praises pro-Hamas groups, wants Israel abolished, and believes wealthy Americans should not exist. Those are his words, just as recent as this weekend. Meanwhile, under President Trump's leadership, Republicans are fighting tirelessly for everyday middle-class working Americans who re-elected this president. And we're carrying out a revolution of common sense. And all of that is packed into this one big, beautiful bill. It delivers the largest middle and working class tax cuts in U.S. history. It keeps America safe by funding the largest ever one-time investment in border security. It's enough to reverse the Biden border invasion. And every single Democrat is against that, against securing our border and deporting millions of criminal illegal aliens. The one big, beautiful bill also strengthens and protects Medicaid benefits, despite what Democrats are saying, for eligible American citizens who rely on it, like pregnant women, children, seniors, and people with disabilities, by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse that threaten to destroy this program that was intended for the most vulnerable in our society. And every single Democrat in Congress is against rooting out that waste, fraud, and abuse and blocking the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving these benefits that should be going to American tax-paying citizens. The Democrats in Congress are more concerned with defending illegal aliens than they are hardworking Americans. And the big, beautiful bill also revitalizes our military and enhances our defense capabilities, protects our country from emerging new threats by funding a cutting-edge missile defense system called the Golden Dome. And as we all know, the one big, beautiful bill makes the Trump tax cuts permanent. The White House and the president are adamant that this bill is passed and that this bill makes its way to his desk. Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, and we are counting on them to get the job done. So with that, we will take up questions. John Fredericks is in our new media seat today. John, thanks for being here. We'll kick it to you.
Thank you, Caroline. Let's get to the one big, beautiful bill first. It appears now you're going to get at least 50 votes in the Senate. There'll be some amendments. What is the president's confidence level in getting 218 votes in the House by the end of this week in order for him to sign it on Friday?
Well, look, we are very well aware, the president is very well aware that this bill needs to not only pass out of the Senate, but it needs to go back to the House. And we need the full weight of the Republican conference to get behind this bill. And we expect them to, and we are confident that they will. The president has been working hand in hand with Senate Majority Leader Thune and also our House Republican leader, or the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, both of whom will be at the White House today to meet with the president yet again. I believe they were here this morning, actually.
I have one follow-up.
Sure.
You outlined Jerome Powell and the note that the president just sent to him. There are many who believe that Powell has been politicized in a lot of different ways. The president has not been shy about acting on things that he believes in. Why not just fire Jerome Powell and put in somebody that is going to lower rates? Why wait?
Well, it's a good question, and one you can ask the president because that's a decision for him to make. But you're right to point out the politicization of the Fed, and it's very unfortunate for our country. But Jerome Powell cut rates numerous times ahead of the election when Joe Biden was in this Oval Office, but now he refuses to, and the economy is in a much better place. So there really isn't a good explanation for that, and the president is rightfully calling attention to it. Kelly.
Good afternoon. On Iran, the president posted on his social that he is not even talking to them anymore. When we were at NATO, he said he expected the U.S. and Iran to have talks as early as this week and that he might even want to see a written agreement. What is the update now if he's saying he's not even talking?
So as I told you from the podium last week, I said the administration, and namely our special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been in communication both directly and indirectly with the Iranians. That communication continues. The president himself has not talked to Iran, which he pointed out in his truth statement. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Does President Trump want Zohran Mamdani deported?
I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him call for that. But certainly he does not want this individual to be elected. I was just speaking to him about it and his radical policies that will completely crush New York City, which is obviously a city that the president holds near and dear to his heart.
There's this Congressman, Andy Ogles. He wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote in 2017. Does President Trump think this is a worthwhile use of the Attorney General's time?
Well, I'll let the president speak to that. I have not seen those claims, but surely if they are true, it's something that should be investigated.
And could President Trump see himself, you said you just talked to him about this, could he see himself working with a mayor, Mamdani, somebody who on Meet the Press this weekend was given 3 chances to condemn the phrase globalize the intifada, but he couldn't?
Yeah, look, the president is always willing to work with everyone. He's working with Democrats across the country, Democrat governors, and he said he'll work with people on the far left. He works with Republicans. He works with people in the middle. He wants to do what's right for America, but surely someone who holds these values and is quite literally a communist and condemns every value that makes this country great. Common sense, law and order, low taxes, working hard, and earning your keep in this country. He's against all of that, and I think the president would find it difficult to work with someone like that. If he is elected, I'm sure you'll hear more from the president on that, but we'll have to see. Hopefully the voters of New York City choose wisely. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. The president on Friday said that he was hopeful of a Gaza deal within the next week. Can you give us an update on any progress towards that, and on any talks that the White House is having with Israel on that?
Sure. Well, I know that Mr. Dermer is in Washington this week to meet with senior officials here at the White House. I also know that this administration is in constant communication with Israeli leadership, and the president himself speaks frequently, as you know, to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But this has been a priority for the president since he took office, to end this brutal war in Gaza. It is because of this president that humanitarian aid is being brought into the region. It's heartbreaking to see the images that have come out from both Israel and Gaza throughout this war, and the president wants to see it end. He wants to save lives. And however, the main priority for the president also remains to bring all of the hostages home out of Gaza. As you know, his tireless effort has brought home many of the hostages, including all of the American hostages who were held there. So he wants to see both things happen, and we're continuing to work very hard to do those things. Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. What is the White House's response to Senator Tillis's criticism articulated from the Senate floor yesterday, in which he said passing the big, beautiful bill would betray President Trump's promise to protect Medicaid?
Well, he is just wrong. And the president and the vast majority of Republicans who are supportive of this legislation are right. This bill protects Medicaid, as I laid out for you, for those who truly deserve this program, the needy, pregnant women, children, sick Americans who physically cannot work. And what it does is it ensures that able-bodied Americans who can work 20 hours a week are actually doing so, and that will therefore strengthen and protect those benefits for Americans who need it, as well as cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, as well as getting 1.4 million illegal aliens off of the program. So all of those measures are actually going to protect it for those who need it. That's the president's position, and that's what this bill does, and that's why Republicans need to vote for it and get it to the president's desk.
That kind of criticism from a Republican senator, is that reason for concern for the passage of this?
No, it's not. We're confident this bill is going to be back at the White House by the 4th of July. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions. On the New York mayoral race, does the president plan to make an endorsement? And secondly, on Jerome Powell, a lot of the focus obviously has been on interest rates and him keeping them high, but a new controversy erupted today. My colleague first reported that he's facing Chairman Jerome Powell is facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime, about luxurious details of the Fed's $2.5 billion renovation project. Senator Loomis has called attention to this. Some experts want him to be investigated. Does the White House want these allegations investigated and, if found substantiated, punished?
I'll have to take a look at those allegations, and I will raise them to the president's attention and let him speak on them himself. To your first question regarding the mayoral race, the president was asked that yesterday by Maria Bartiromo. He refused to give an endorsement, so you won't get one from me at this podium unless he wants me to do that. Philip, go ahead.
Oh,
Sure. And then I can go to you.
cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. The president said that he's working on a temporary pause for immigration enforcement in certain industries. I'm wondering what you can tell us about how he's determining which industries are deserving of a pass. He mentioned farmers, but what about, say, construction workers? I mean, shouldn't there just be one standard here?
I don't have any more details to read out for you, but what I can tell you is that the White House is working closely every day with the Department of Agriculture as well as the Department of Homeland Security when it comes to workforce enforcement, worksite enforcement, and the president's focus and the focus of this administration is, of course, to remove public safety threats from the streets and to deport as many of the illegal criminals, especially the violent criminals that we know are still here because of the previous administration. So that's the main priority and the goal.
And then the president has already made cuts to the office of the Director of National Intelligence, but now Senator Tom Cotton has put forward a bill that would cut the office by another 60%. What's the president's reaction to that legislation, and is this something that he would support, those additional cuts?
I don't know if the president's even aware of that legislation, but I will get you a response if he is aware and if he wants to respond to it. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. You mentioned the dangerous wildlife at the Alligator Alcatraz. Is that a design feature? Why is the president going with this mega bill in such a precarious position in the Senate? And then also, can you talk about the CBO estimate that it would add about 11 million uninsured?
Well, look, when you have illegal murderers and rapists and heinous criminals in a detention facility surrounded by alligators, yes, I do think that's a deterrent for them to try to escape. We do know that some of these illegal criminals have escaped from other detention facilities, like one in New Jersey, which I know was recently reported on. So, of course, we want to keep the American people safe, and we want to remove these public safety threats from our streets, and we want to effectively detain them as best as we can. As for why the president is going, I think his trip to this detention facility actually underscores the need to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill, because we need more detention facilities across the country. The last administration let in nearly 20 million illegal people from all over the world, and this administration is focused on arresting and detaining them. But in comparison to that 20 million illegal criminal population in our country, we only have 7,000 ICE agents in the interior who are doing this very important work. And so we obviously need more personnel, we need more resources, and that's why we need to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill.
On the CBOs,
Go ahead. Yes. In the pink.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you please share some details of China trade deal? Has the U.S. agreed to ease some technology export restrictions?
Sure. Well, the final language that was agreed upon in both Geneva and in London was signed just past week. We can get you that final text of the agreement. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline.
Eamon, and then behind you.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. So on Jay Powell, has the president got a short list of who he wants to see as Jay Powell's successor, and is he going to name a successor as early as this summer?
I won't get ahead of the president on any announcements on that.
Does he like Scott Besson for the job?
Again, I won't get ahead of the president.
You know, on TikTok, if you could, real quick, he said
Sure.
yesterday he's got a buyer, but the question there is, does he have a seller? Do you have any indication from the Chinese government that they've authorized a sale of TikTok to the U.S. or to U.S. buyers?
What I can tell you is that these discussions with China regarding the sale of TikTok have been ongoing at the highest level, and they will continue. As you know, we have another 90-day extension, and it's just to continue to work out this deal and make sure that TikTok stays on for the American people. That's the president's main goal in this, while protecting their privacy and their security. Behind you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. The president has been calling for a deal in Gaza for 2 days and many posts. Who is blocking the deal? And one other thing, when he posted on Netanyahu's trial, also he said it interferes with the negotiations on Iran and on Gaza. What did he mean by that?
I'm sorry, to your second question?
When he posted about the Israeli Prime Minister trial,
Yes.
he said it interferes with the negotiations on Gaza and on Iran. What did he mean by that?
It interferes because it physically and logistically was interfering. The prime minister was slated to go to court last week when he's in the middle of negotiating a peace deal and bringing hostages out of a war-torn region. And so the president was simply, I think, emphasizing his empathy that he has for Bibi Netanyahu and seeing him go what he's going through with his own judicial system in the state of Israel. Clearly, the president knows that very well. He, too, was a victim of a judicial system that was trying to put him in jail, as you all know. You all covered it. But President Trump prevailed. That's why he's back in the Oval Office. And he believes that Bibi Netanyahu is a great leader for the people of Israel. The president just worked with him closely to end that 12-day war and to obliterate Iran's nuclear facility, to take out that imminent threat, not just to the state of Israel, but also to the United States of America and the rest of the world. And he believes that Prime Minister Netanyahu should be praised for that. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. On the mega bill and the amendment that would limit Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act, does the president want that amendment to pass?
The president wants this bill to pass. Meredith.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. On trade, we have this looming July 9th deadline coming up. We heard the Treasury Secretary say that he expects to wrap up these trade deals by Labor Day, but when President Trump was asked yesterday about any extensions by July 9th, he said, I think that would be necessary. So is the president ruling out any extensions on trade for any nations, even if they're negotiating in good faith?
Well, you heard from him directly. He said he did not think that it would be necessary. He is going to set the rates for many of these countries if they don't come to the table to negotiate in good faith. And he is meeting with his trade team this week to do that. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. I just watched a CNN segment on a new app called Ice Block, and it kind of appeared to be promoting this app where you can tell people where ICE agents are. Given the recent rise...
An app that tells people where ICE agents are?
Yes. And given the rise, I believe, 500% increase in assaults on ICE agents, I wanted to see if you could comment on that and why CNN would be promoting such an app.
Well, it's a very good question. I'll have to go back and watch the clip myself, but surely it sounds like this would be an incitement of further violence against our ICE officers. As you know, as you stated, there's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding and were let in from the previous administration, should be very grateful for. So we haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
Caroline?
Shelby.
I just wanted to get a clarification on the Senator Rick Scott's amendment. It sounds like the president is agnostic about whether it's attached. Is that accurate?
Look, I'm not going to get into the details of the discussions that are ongoing right now, but the president wants these senators to come to a conclusion, to get this bill back to the White House as soon as possible and make sure that it's a piece of legislation that can make its way back through the House as well. So obviously there's some ping-ponging between both sides of Capitol Hill right now, but that's why Senator Thune and Speaker Johnson are working with the president in lockstep every step of the way. In the back, News Nation, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. The president did
and then in front of you, yes.
In front of
Sure, I'll take both of you.
The president did announce last week that the trade deal with India is closed and this could happen anytime soon. Are there any roadblocks as of now? Are there any updates on that? And how does the president see this about China's role or its influence in the Indo-Pacific region?
Sure, yes. The president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
And on China? How do we counter China on that front?
Yes, I mean, look, India remains a very strategic ally in the Asia Pacific, and the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Modi, as you know, and he will continue to have that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. On the reconciliation bill, Senator Tillis from the floor yesterday seemed to suggest President Trump was getting bad counsel on the effects of the bill. Is President Trump aware of the analyses, and there are several of these, that suggest if rural hospitals potentially close, if there are Medicaid patients in the millions that become ineligible for that?
Yes, and that claim is just simply untrue. Rural hospitals comprise 7% of all hospital spending on Medicaid, and that illustrates that they have not benefited from the massive increase of waste, fraud, and abuse under the Biden administration. So this bill strengthens Medicaid. It will protect those benefits that hardworking Americans need, and that's why the president wants this bill to pass. The senator was wrong. The president put out a Truth Social post addressing it, and then the senator announced he's no longer running for office anymore. So I think that case has been closed, and the White House is continuing to focus on getting this legislation to the president's desk for his signature. Go ahead. Yes, you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, you and then you. There's confusion here.
A question on Syria.
Go ahead.
Has the Syrian government get back to you that they are ready to join the Abraham Accord? Is there any discussion with the Syrian and Israeli government for having a security agreement? This is the first question. And the second question, what's the end goal for talking with the Iranian? Is that only focused on the nuclear program, or you're willing to speak about other issues like the proxy groups and ballistic missiles, or even trade with Iran?
So as for discussions between Syria and Israel, you'll have to reach out to those respective governments. I can't comment on that. But what I can tell you is that this afternoon, the president will be signing an executive order to terminate the United States sanctions program on Syria. And this is in an effort to promote and support the country's path to stability and peace. The order will remove sanctions on Syria while maintaining sanctions on the former President Assad, his associates, human rights abusers, drug traffickers, persons linked to chemical weapons activities, ISIS and their affiliates, and Iranian proxies. And this is, again, an action that the president promised and shocked the world with in Saudi Arabia, because he's committed to supporting a Syria that is stable, unified, and at peace with itself and its neighbors. The president met with Syria's new president when we were in the Middle East, as you know. And so this is another promise made and promise kept by this president to promote peace and stability in the region. Go ahead, Alice.
Questions on two topics, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Alice Howe with NTD here. First, on Canada. Canada says it's now dropping its digital services tax on American tech companies days after President Trump says he's halting all trade talks with Canada. First, what's the president's reaction to this? Can you tell us more about his call with Prime Minister Carney over the weekend? How did he get Carney to drop it? And also, what's the impact on American tech companies given this latest progress, as the president says he has been fighting for American tech companies?
It's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump in the United States of America. And President Trump knows how to negotiate, and he knows that he is governing the best country and the best economy in this world, on this planet. And every country on the planet needs to have good trade relationships with the United States. And it was a mistake for Canada to vow to implement that tax that would have hurt our tech companies here in the United States. The president made his position quite clear to the prime minister, and the prime minister called the president last night to let the president know that he would be dropping that tax, which is a big victory for our tech companies and our American workers here at home.
And on Harvard, if you don't mind, the administration today formally accused Harvard of violating civil rights laws by not doing enough to fight anti-Semitism. We know that the president has talked to us before about Harvard potentially having a deal with the administration in the coming days. Do you have an updated timeline for that? How's the negotiations going? And is more pressure needed for Harvard to take fighting anti-Semitism seriously?
Well, there was quite a direct letter that was sent to Harvard this morning, as you know. The negotiations are taking place behind closed doors, so I won't comment on that. But what I will share with all of you, for those who haven't seen it, is the context of this letter, because I think it's very important. And this comes from the Department of Health and Human Services, which concluded after a thorough investigation that Harvard University is in a violent violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. And if you read some of the content of the investigation and what they found, the majority of Jewish students reportedly experienced negative bias or discrimination on their campus, while a quarter of Jewish students at Harvard felt physically unsafe. Jewish and Israeli students were assaulted and spit on. They hid their kippahs for fear of being harassed and concealed their Jewish identity from classmates for fear of ostracization. Images were widely circulated amongst the Harvard community that trafficked in obvious anti-Semitic tropes, including one that showed a dollar sign inside of a Star of David, and the campus was vandalized with anti-Semitic stickers, including one that showed the Israeli flag with a swastika. The Harvard campus was racked by demonstrations, as you all know, violent protests that violated the university's rules of conduct. The demonstrations called for genocide and murder, denied Jewish and Israeli students access to campus spaces. These are all facts that Harvard cannot dispute, and that's why the administration has found them in violation of Title VI and has threatened to withhold their federal funding, because if you break federal law, you should not be receiving federal tax dollars. And so I rest my case on Harvard. Andrea.
Yeah, so President Macron of France earlier today said that tariffs levied by powerful countries are often a form of blackmail, and criticized the sort of process that's underway. He didn't mention the United States specifically, but said that these tariffs are really hurting developing countries. So there's this big UN conference going on. What do you say to that? What is the president, was he aware of that comment, and did he have any response?
I think the president and the White House would certainly reject that characterization by Prime Minister Macron. Tariffs are an effective use of presidential power to bring back the middle class, to bring back our manufacturing industry, which was the backbone of our American economy and has been hollowed out by globalist politicians who have caved to foreign countries instead of doing what's right for American workers. That's why the president is effectively utilizing his authority to wage tariffs and to utilize tariffs, and continues to be in discussions and negotiations on trade to do what's right for America. And Europe and the rest of the world might not be used to that, but President Trump is back in town, and he's going to do what's right for our people and our country.
Can I just follow up on Netanyahu? So there's a report in Israeli media that the Prime Minister will actually be here, that Netanyahu will be here today meeting with the president. Can you confirm that?
I don't believe Prime Minister Netanyahu is here today. I think you guys would know about that by now. Unless there's something going on I don't know about, but I don't believe he is. I do know he has expressed interest in coming to Washington and meeting with the president, and we are working on a date for that. I do not believe it is today, but that would be fun. You never know in this White House, let's be honest. Go ahead.
Thanks, Carolyn. Does the president support this new measure in the big, beautiful bill that would impose steep new taxes on new wind and solar projects?
I believe you're referring to the credits for wind and solar projects.
And we're talking about the new tax. There's a new tax that it's estimated would add 10 to 20% to the cost of any new wind and solar projects that start after this year.
Again, I don't want to comment on the specifics of provisions, but I'm sure the president will speak on that directly. Again, this is an ongoing process. The president continues to be very much engaged with the leadership in both the Senate and the House to get this bill back to his desk.
Did the president ask for that provision? Because the National Building Trades Union is saying that it's the equivalent of terminating more than 1,000 Keystone XL pipeline projects. Is that something that would concern him?
Well, the president spoke on this yesterday in his interview, and he said he understands that legislators want to protect jobs in their communities and in their districts. And so he understands why some of them are against this provision, but he also understands why people want the provision. So again, this is an ongoing deliberation and discussion, and the president is engaged in this very much. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. We've been hearing from White House officials for weeks that you're close on trade deals with a number of countries. Can we get any update on which countries will have deals by the 9th and when there may be any announcements?
I'll let the president and the trade team speak on it.
Can you respond to the CBO estimate that the Senate bill would increase the deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion?
This is one of the most fiscally conservative pieces of legislation that has ever made its way through Capitol Hill. There's $2 trillion in mandatory savings in this bill. And not only that, the projected growth that this bill will bring to our economy. It will be an economic boom. The Council of Economic Advisors has an analysis that shows that the bill will generate $4.1 trillion in economic growth, and it will cut taxes, putting more money back into the American people's pockets. That's why this president wants this bill to pass, and I know he's busy working the phones and doing what he needs to do today to make it happen. So we'll see you all later. Thank you. We'll see you in Florida tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, they're addressing a lot of different topics today. As you know, the biggest headline on Capitol Hill is the vote-a-rama now underway in the Senate. Senate leaders there voting on their version of the One Big Beautiful Bill. From there, it goes to the House. From the House, if it passes the House, it would then go to the president's desk for signing. She also talked about tomorrow the opening of Alligator Alcatraz. That is where criminal illegal aliens will be housed. She's talked about inflation. She talked about tariffs. Also talking about a possible Gaza deal. And she told us in terms of a possible ceasefire and Gaza deal with Israel, talks are continuing. So a lot of things we got an update on, and we will continue to monitor those big headlines throughout the day right here on Dr. Phil's Merits.
Alligator Alcatraz sounds like an amusement park in Florida because there's a lot of those down there, but it's not. So that's going to be interesting. Hey, we're going to take you right now, though, to Dr. Phil True Crime. In this episode, the mother and sister of a 12-year-old girl who was tortured and killed in 1992 share their story.
Thanks for watching.
With Shakeology, I don't have to stress about nutrition.
I drink one shake a day. It's delicious. Packed superfoods, fiber,
Vitamins, proteins,
probiotics, and digestive enzymes
to make sure my gut health is on point for the day.
With a Shakeology subscription, you can get 3 months of body streaming fitness for free. Go to Shakeology.com for more details.
We now return to In Cold Blood, a daughter's brutal murder. 12-year-old Shanda Sharer was savagely beaten, tortured, and strangled before being set on fire while still alive and left for dead on the side of the road. What the 4 teenagers did after the brutal slaying still haunts Shanda's family.
Now, did I understand the record right that after they set Shanda on fire, not once but twice,
they went to McDonald's.
They went to McDonald's for breakfast and joked that she looked like the sausages?
That's right. It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. It's just beyond belief.
And 2 of them are out of jail.
2 of them are out of jail today.
How do you feel about that?
I don't feel good about that. I have tried so hard to deal with Shanda's death with a little bit of dignity because I'm Shanda's voice now. There's nobody left to speak for her. And the only thing that I've ever asked is for these girls to serve their sentence. And the only one that has is Lori Tackett. She's never once asked for an appeal or asked to get out early. But the others did everything. I mean, Melinda just recently exhausted all her appeals. Hope Rippey went back and back and back until she actually got a judge to completely resentence her, and she shaved 15 years off of her sentence. There was only one thing they could do to show their remorse, and they couldn't even do that. So I don't feel good about that at all. And the reason that Hope Rippey was let out early, apparently, from the testimony that I listened to, and from what the judge said, is that because she was a model prisoner. You're supposed to be a model prisoner when you're in prison. That's what you're supposed to do. It's not like you're supposed to be rewarded for that. She could have at least served her sentence.
You know, I often wonder if one of these days these girls have children and they think about someone doing that to their child. I would hope that they never have children.
I know several of them have had children.
I know Tony has children. I don't know if Hope has.
Well, 8 years ago, Lori gave a statement to a crime library reporter who was asking her why someone would kill. And here's what she said. She said, quote, "Let's say, for instance, I know a couple of people who kill simply for the fear that they see in their victims' eyes and for the sight of the blood on their bodies. My opinion is they do it to feel superior or high on the victim's fear, and they're thirsty for the spill of blood." What do you think about that? Is she talking about herself there?
Yes. She testified at one of the hearings that she knew it was her destiny. She had always known it was her destiny to murder someone and to spend the rest of her life in prison.
Now, we're talking about Lori Tackett. That was her statement, and she's currently serving the remainder of her 60 years at Indiana Women's Prison. Now, in her first interview, she talks about what she says her involvement was the night that Shanda was murdered. Will y'all look at this with me?
Certainly.
And then we'll talk about it? Okay, let's take a look.
I didn't know Shanda at all. I didn't go into that evening knowing anything was going to happen, wanting anything to happen, expecting. I didn't. Peer pressure. That's all it was. It spiraled out of control way too fast. It's something that should have never happened. If I knew then what I know now, I would have never have been there. I would have stopped everything from happening, and I would have never let Shanda be picked up in the first place. I do want Shanda's mother to know how much I regret my actions and what happened. I feel how hard it must be for a mother. Just the pain that I've caused a mother, is painful for me to know that I've done that to someone and that I've hurt lives that never had to be hurt. I don't feel like I will ever be free from what happened. I live with it every day. It seems like the older I get, the harder it is for me to deal with it. Every January I relive pretty much what happened, and it's just extremely hard. I really don't honestly believe that I will ever be able to move on.
What's your reaction to that?
Good.
Good in what way? That she's suffering?
Yes, that she'll never be able to move on, and I hope every January breaks her more and more down the older she gets.
Coming up, Hope Rippey speaks out about getting set free.
Let's hear why Hope says she deserved her early release from prison.
And later, Shanda's family goes face to face with Hope Rippey for the first time when In Cold Blood, a daughter's brutal murder continues.
Step into a world of tranquility. Enjoy private accommodations. Let go of distractions and embrace the calm. Start your quiet exploration in jail every weekday on Merit TV.
Right now, we want to tell you about our next Merit must-have, and this is called Sambrosa Night Syrup.
I'm so excited about this one. You know this.
I know you are, because you know how important getting a good night's sleep is. When it comes to getting a great night of rest, Sambrosa is really magical.
Okay, so we want to say goodbye to sleepless nights. Amen. So go to Sambrosa.com and use the code MERIT. Get this, for 25% off your first order. That's a huge discount. It's safe, it's effective, and it's not habit forming. I love that component.
Yeah, let's talk about the ingredients here.
Okay.
This has a proprietary base of nutrient-rich honey and then 7 organic herbs. So it has no dyes, no synthetic colors or unnatural flavors. And also, this is very important for a health nut like me, no high fructose corn syrup.
I love this. It is so mild. You can taste those natural ingredients.
Yeah. Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming. It's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL. Just ask anybody who uses it. The The results are undeniable.
I had a lot of joint pain, and that slowed me down.
I had considerable pain in my back.
Really felt the pain. I mean, in my ankles and in my heels.
I'm telling you about something that's gonna change your life. It has revived me.
This works.
I'm not a prisoner anymore to my pain.
As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL, and it changed my life. Today, I'm here at my ranch exercising some of my polo ponies. So as you get older, it gets tougher. I was starting to suffer some of that business, and then I ran into somebody who said, look, you should try Omega XL. And look what it's done. I feel better than I felt in the last 30 years. And Omega XL gave me the ability to get back in the saddle. It works great. If you're in pain, I want you to know that there is real hope out there. I'm living proof. See the difference it can make in your life, just like it did in mine.
Buy one bottle of Omega XL and get one free. Plus, you'll also receive a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 absolutely free. Buy one, get two free. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3, a value of more than $85. Call today and you pay only $39.95. Plus, it's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee. Act now.
We now return to In Cold Blood, a daughter's brutal murder. 12-year-old Shanda Sher was beaten, tortured, and set on fire alive by 4 teenage girls. Lori Tackett didn't even know the sweet girl with the big smile. Police say she just wanted to kill somebody, but that's not what Lori says.
I didn't know Shanda at all. I didn't go into that evening knowing anything was going to happen, wanting anything to happen, expecting. I didn't. Peer pressure. That's all it was.
I've got to tell you, it's something I don't buy. This, gee, I was just a follower. Gee, this was just peer pressure. That is absolutely, unequivocally crap to me. You cannot tell me that these girls were not bought into this and pursuing it with vigor. They had opportunities. They had hours away to step away and say, look, there's a girl that's hurt. We need to save her life. I've made a bad decision. I'm not going to make it worse. Come on. I mean, that's offensive to me. One of the other girls is Hope. She came to the door and lured Shanda out. So you talk about premeditation. Melinda says on the way over, testimony says, Melinda says on the way over, we're going to kill this girl. So Hope says, I'm it. I'll go to the door. She goes to the door and lures her out. Brings her to the car, puts her in the front seat, closes the door. Melinda pops up with a knife under a blanket, puts it in her throat. That's okay, right. Now obviously Hope knows this because this is all coordinated, right?
Well, yes.
It's so bad that when they're beating her and taunting her with a knife, she takes her Mickey Mouse watch.
Just exactly right.
I mean, come on.
Melinda Loveless still has one of Shanda's rings that she wears in prison, and the prison won't give it back.
And
she says that she's married
and then
to her.
Hope admits that she douses her with gas.
Yes. And she's out walking the streets.
She is out walking the street. Let's hear why Hope says she deserved her early release from prison. Take a look at this.
Even though Shanda's mother didn't want me to be released, I felt like I wanted to give the judge the opportunity to see what I had done. I was sentenced for punishment, and I was sentenced for rehabilitation. And I do feel like the rehabilitation took place. It doesn't matter if I'm in prison or out of prison. Absolutely nothing could ever fulfill the punishment part for what I did.
She should still be there.
Yes.
And y'all know she is here.
Yes.
I have not met her yet. I plan to do that. And you want to talk to her. And I would if I were you. I mean, I totally get that. But you do want to speak to her, true?
Coming up, In her own words, Hope Rippey gives an eyewitness account of the killing.
I was the first person that poured the gasoline on Shanda.
When In Cold Blood, a daughter's brutal murder continues.
Tariffs, inflation, fear of recession. How do you make sense of all this economic uncertainty? To start, every one of you needs this free precious metals guide from Preserve Gold. This isn't some generic sales pamphlet. It's a clear, easy-to-read roadmap that explains exactly how to protect your savings with gold and other time-tested metals. Now, I'm not saying you need to buy gold. Gold isn't for everyone. But you do need to educate yourself so you can make the best decision for you and your family. You won't find this guide in stores. It's not online, and it's only available by calling right now. Call 844-407-6375 or text PHIL to 50505 to get your free, no-obligation guide from Preserve Gold. Call now. You'll be glad you did.
The GrillBot is the world's first and only automatic grill cleaner. Simply turn it on, set the timer, and let your GrillBot do the cleaning for you. The onboard computer chip creates a randomized pattern with each of the 3 brushes, ensuring full coverage of your grill, deep cleaning every corner. The GrillBot does literally all the work, so you don't have to.
I was skeptical. The first time you pick up GrillBot, you know it's serious quality and it cleans incredibly well.
The GrillBot works with hot or cold grills, so you can use it before or after you grill. Just turn it on, close the lid, and hang out with your dinner guests, and the GrillBot does all the cleaning for you. The quick-release brushes are dishwasher safe, and with the rechargeable lithium-ion battery, it's easy to make sure your GrillBot is always ready to clean. Check out the GrillBot, available in black or red. The GrillBot makes the perfect holiday gift for the griller in your life. Try the GrillBot risk-free for 60 days with our no-questions-asked satisfaction guarantee. Visit getgrillbot.com.
Struggling to lose weight? Help reach your health goals with one simple change. One shake. Clinically tested benefits, and over 1 billion servings sold.
With Shakeology, I don't have to stress about nutrition.
I drink 1 shake a day. It's delicious. Packed superfoods, fiber,
Vitamins, proteins,
probiotics, and digestive enzymes.
To make sure my gut health is on point for the day.
With a Shakeology subscription, you can get 3 months of body streaming fitness for free. Go to Shakeology.com for more details. There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
We now return to In Cold Blood, a daughter's brutal murder. Fueled by jealousy and rage after her ex-girlfriend Amanda Heverin turned her attention to Shanda Scherer, police say Melinda Loveless hatched a plot to murder the 12-year-old. She recruited 3 other girls who had never met Shanda to help carry out her plan. Hope Rippey was one of those girls and is now out of jail after serving 15 years in prison for Shanda's murder.
Hope admits that she douses her with gas?
That's exactly right.
We spoke to her on tape. Would you like to see the tape?
That'd be fine.
On January 10th and 11th, I was one of 4 girls that was involved in the death of Shanda Scherer. I didn't know Melinda. I'd only met her once before. That night she was agitated and she didn't want Shanda around Amanda, and that's what the whole thing was about. She was gonna beat her up. It was gonna be Melinda teaching Shanda a lesson to leave Amanda alone. That night I was the one that was driving us to Shanda's house. Tony and I went up to Shanda's door to ask her if she wanted to come with us. When Melinda came out of the back seat is when she had the knife with her, and she started threatening Shanda. We drove to the witch's castle, and we all went up into the little rock shelter. Melinda was more taunting her, and I was being a bully too. I was laughing at her, making remarks about the situation. I bet you're gonna leave Amanda alone now. Laurie wanted to leave because there were cars driving by. We drove right past where Laurie lives to a wooded area, and that's where Melinda and Shanda fought. Laurie was goading Melinda on and encouraging her anger. Laurie just wanted to see a fight. I mean, it just was out of control. Melinda was going after Shanda with the knife, and I didn't see her cut Shanda with it or, you know, stab at her or anything like that, but she was holding it up to her, you know, threatening her with it. Melinda or Laurie yelled at me to get out and open the trunk. When I got out of the car, Shanda was unconscious. That's pretty much when I started to freak out. I thought Melinda and Laurie have definitely crossed the line that there was no coming back. I drove us to Laurie's house. Tony and I got out, and Melinda and Laurie left. They didn't tell us what they were gonna do, so we just went in Laurie's room. And then her dad came in at one point and asked where his daughter was, and we said that she was with Melinda. I never told him that Shanda was with them. I didn't say anything about her being with us at all. I was scared to say anything because I didn't know what was happening. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to stop it. I know that it's selfish and I know that it's wrong, but I didn't want to make them angry with us. I just didn't know. I don't know exactly what time it was when they left, but it was daytime when they came back. So it was hours. We just laid there and went to sleep. When Melinda and Laurie came back to the house, they told us that they had killed Shanda. When Shanda was in the trunk, she had blood on her face, on her body, her hair. I mean, she was tortured. She was beaten badly. We kind of figured that she was dead. It just was decided that we were gonna burn her body to get rid of it. We drove to the gas station. We purchased a 2-liter of Coke. The Coke was poured out and gasoline was put in the 2-liter. We drove out into the country. We all thought that it was nowhere. We were stupid. We didn't think there would be anything there for anybody to find. We were dumb. It's not like we knew what we were doing. Laurie opened the trunk and Shanda was in there, and Laurie kept yelling at us to help her, and Tony was like, I'm not getting back out of the car. And I said I didn't want to help her. I was like, I'm not gonna help you. And Laurie yelled at me to get the 2-liter out. So I grabbed the 2-liter and I went to hand it to her. And she was like, no, just pour it on her. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And she said, just do it, just pour it on her. So I did. I was the first person that poured the gasoline on Shanda. And I don't know who lit the fire. It was either Laurie or Melinda, and then they came and got in a car, and we drove away. And then we did drive back because Melinda was worried that the fire would go out. So Melinda got out and poured the rest of the gasoline on her and threw the bottle, and then got back in the car and we left. You know, something to start out all like fun and games, and it's just gonna be, you know, a rowdy night and turn into something so incredibly beyond anything that you think you could ever be around. I just didn't know that it was gonna end up the way that it ended up. And saying that, I can't even say that I still would have done anything differently because I don't know what I could have done.
Coming up, confronting a killer. For the first time, Jackie and Paige come face to face with Hope Rippey.
Why did you do it to her?
When in cold blood, a daughter's brutal murder continues.
If AI is already thinking with us, how long before it starts thinking for us?
I guarantee you, at least 95% of students are using AI for every single assignment.
That's actually a little scary. That's tonight.
I love what I do, which is help people make the switch to consumer cellular. People like this. Hello, I'm Veronica.
My name is Darvin.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Jackie.
And we switched to consumer cellular.
Consumer Cellular gives you access to a fast, reliable, nationwide network for up to half the cost of big wireless.
I was with my previous provider for 15 years.
It was terrible.
Why are we paying this much for our cell phone bill? It's crazy, right?
Dropped calls or missed calls. To me, that was just normal.
We wouldn't get to talk to a person.
Now with consumer cellular, no problems.
Our reception is so much better with Consumer Cellular. It's been amazing.
I just made a road trip across half the country, and I did not have one dropped call.
Living in the desert, that call quality is very important.
Better customer service. They tell me exactly what I'm paying and why I'm paying for it.
And here's my favorite part. You can save up to half on your bill.
It's within $1 of being half of my old bill.
With Verizon, I was paying about $150 a month. With Consumer Cellular, I'm paying about half that.
As AARP members, we get 2 lines for $55 a month.
I still can't believe it that I was wasting that much money.
I'm like, okay, this is doable. This is affordable.
I wish that I had made the change sooner.
I'm getting the exact same coverage for half the price. That's a beautiful thing.
Done deal.
We'll set you up with the best plan for you and help you wrap things up with your old provider. It all takes about 20 minutes.
Switching over took about 20 minutes. That's it.
Call 1-800-624-8523
to switch today. Plus, new customers can save $25 when they switch today.
I am not the most tech-savvy guy.
What's a SIM card? I don't even know.
Their agent did everything for me.
And not to brag or anything, but you get the industry's best customer service from one of our 100% US-based call centers.
Consumer Cellular customer service reps are A1, top-notch.
They are so nice. You get a human being to talk to.
You can even bring your own devices for free, and there's no long-term contracts. You just pay less every month.
It's month to month, very simple. You're not locked in.
I got to keep my phone. I got to keep my number.
You can keep your old phone number.
Think of all the trouble that saves.
When I order pizza, they have my number, so it goes right to the account, and that's nice. It's little things.
We keep in touch with our family through video chatting. It's become such an important time, and Consumer Cellular facilitates that.
If you're thinking about switching providers, do it.
If I can do it, you can.
That's why I love Consumer Cellular. They've made it easy.
Like that, I was now a Consumer Cellular customer.
And I've been bragging to my friends about it, too.
We'd love for you to enjoy our reliable nationwide coverage and the best customer service in the business. Give us a call now and start saving up to half on what you're paying now. It only takes about 20 minutes.
Call 1-800-624-8523
to switch and save up to half with Consumer Cellular. Plus, new customers can save $25 when they switch today.
We now return to In Cold Blood, a daughter's brutal murder.
What I did was I was there. I didn't stop it. I didn't do anything to stop what was happening. And I am the one that went up to her house. I am the one that asked her to come out. And when we went back to the house, I went up there with Laurie, and I am the one that drove the car. And I am the one that initially poured the gasoline on her. And I know that my actions ultimately resulted in Shanda dying. I do believe that I could have saved Shanda's life if I had said at any point that what was happening was wrong.
What do you think about what she had to say?
I believe in that man above, and he has a plan, and he will take care of all 4 of them girls. And he has taken care of me and my mom to get us through every single day. But they should have at least served their time. We have to serve our time. We don't get to see Shanda. Like she said, whether I'm in prison or I'm out of prison, I'm still being punished. Well, we don't get to see Shanda anymore. She's 6 feet underground. That's where we had to put her.
Save that, because I want you to say that to her. I do. You want to be here for this?
Do you want me to be here with you? I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do.
I'm not going to leave her out here by herself. I'm just not going to do it. I just pray I can be dignified. Because I never want to shame Shanda's name.
Well, understand, I'm going to keep this safe. I'm going to keep this under control. We're going to have an honest and candid conversation. But now, look at me here. Forget about these cameras. Forget about the moment. I want you to do what feels right in your heart. There is no pressure here. None whatsoever. It's for you to do what feels right.
I'll stay with Paige.
What would Shanda say if she could? and she was here, what would she ask these girls? What would she say to them?
Why? Just why?
Maybe the two of you can be her voice. But I don't want you to do this if you don't want to do it. But if you want to speak for Shanda, then I want you to do that. And if you don't want to say anything, don't. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I got you 100%. If anytime you want it stopped, you just tell me, and it's stopped. It's done.
Okay.
This is about you. It's not about her.
Are you sure you're okay? Yeah.
She can come out now.
You think you know Dr. Phil? Think again. He's not just a host. He's where the news happens.
How does this affect everyday people in America?
Dr. Phil's Merit TV.
The GrillBot is the world's first and only automatic grill cleaner. Simply turn it on, set the timer, and let your GrillBot do the cleaning for you. The onboard computer chip creates a randomized pattern with each of the 3 brushes, ensuring full coverage of your grill, deep cleaning every corner. The GrillBot does literally all the work, so you don't have to.
I was skeptical. The first time you pick up GrillBot, you know it's serious quality, and it cleans incredibly well.
The GrillBot works with hot or cold grills, so you can use it before or after you grill. Just turn it on, close the lid, and hang out with your dinner guests, and the GrillBot does all the cleaning for you. The quick-release brushes are dishwasher safe, and with the rechargeable lithium-ion battery, it's easy to make sure your GrillBot is always ready to clean. Check out the GrillBot, available in black or red. The GrillBot makes the perfect holiday gift for the griller in your life. Try the GrillBot risk-free for 60 days with our no-questions-asked satisfaction guarantee. Visit getgrillbot.com.
America, you love Alien Tape, and now you can get 2 rolls for free. That's right, free. Introducing Alien Tape, the double-sided ultra-strong tape that bonds instantly and holds on tight. Just cut Alien Tape to size, place it where you want it, peel off the back, and it bonds instantly to almost any surface. And when you're done, just give it a twist, and it comes right off. Check this out. Alien Tape works on glass, metal, wood, tile, carpet, and so much more. It sticks instantly to almost anything. Alien Tape's nano grip technology locks into place and holds tight. Alien Tape is great for a quick fix all around the house. Hang outdoor lights with no tools. It's perfect for installing security cameras. Alien Tape instantly locks down rugs and holds them in place so they don't blow away. Just cut Alien Tape to size, peel off the back, place it where you want it. It bonds instantly and locks tight onto almost any surface. And when you're done, just give it a twist and it comes right off. No nails or screws. You'll use it indoors, outdoors, and it even works on stone, brick, and more. And remember, Alien Tape is the double-sided, ultra-strong tape that instantly locks into place and holds on tight. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of uses for Alien Tape. Now here's your chance to try Alien Tape's TV offer.
Call or go online to get your roll of the incredible Alien Tape for the low price of just $19.99 plus shipping and processing. Order today, and you can get 2 additional rolls of Alien Tape, absolutely free. That's right, you can get 3 rolls of Alien Tape for one low price. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-620-9961. That's 1-800-620-9961, or go to tryalientape.com. So call 1-800-620-9961. That's 1-800-620-9961, or order online at tryalientape.com.
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil. A 12-year-old's brutal murder made international headlines.
You were inhuman that night.
The show that everyone will be talking about.
When she was pleading and begging for her life, what did you feel?
Now, one of the killers
I didn't think I wanted to speak to you, but I really do want to ask you a question.
talks to the family for the first time.
Why? Why did you do it to her?
That's tomorrow.
I want to thank all of my guests today. I also want to thank Investigation Discovery for allowing us to use a clip from their series, Deadly Women. Thank you. Is there anything either of you want to ask me or say?
I do want to tell the parents out there, I like to give parents permission to not give their children privacy. A lot of people don't agree. You know, I tell the parents and I tell the children, you know, when the kids grow up and have their own homes, they can have all the privacy they need. But we as parents need to protect our children. And if you have a feeling something is wrong in your child's life, you have every right to go into that purse, go into those binders, go into those drawers, wherever you think they may be writing or hiding something that you need to know about. You have a right to look at that.
I agree completely.
We do give our children too much power over us. We've kind of backed away as parents, I think.
It's not just our children as victims, it's also our children as bullies. I mean, these bullies have parents. How do the parents not know their kids are out there bullying somebody?
Because they're not
I mean,
home.
find out what your kid's doing, what they're up to.
Exactly.
And, you know, you have to deal with this now with your children. So, you know, they're in that zone. They're in that window that all this is relevant. I'm proud to know both of you.
Thank you so
much. And that we use
much.
this to impact
Thank you.
other people's lives.
Thank you for joining us for this news break here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV. I'm Joe Gum.
And I'm Fanchen Stinger. We will get you back to your regularly scheduled programming in just a moment. But first, one of the people who was injured in this month's attack in Boulder, Colorado, sadly has died. We have learned 82-year-old Karen Diamond suffered severe injuries in that attack, and she has now died because of those injuries. Muhammad Solomon, the suspect in that attack, is now charged with first-degree murder. Solomon is accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at the crowd of people who were peacefully marching to raise awareness of hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza. 13 other people were hurt in that attack. Solomon is now facing multiple charges at the state and federal level, including 9 hate crime acts. He has pleaded not guilty.
Authorities have identified the suspect behind the ambush shooting of firefighters in Idaho as 20-year-old Wes Rowley. Investigators believe the suspect intentionally set a brush fire on Canfield Mountain near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, before opening fire, sniping down responding firefighters. 2 firefighters were killed, a third injured. According to the county sheriff, it was something no one saw coming.
We do believe that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush, and it was intentional. This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
The suspect was found dead on the mountain, and officials believe he is the only shooter involved. However, a motive behind the attack remains unclear. The fire has also grown to 26 acres.
And closing arguments now underway in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The 12-person jury is deciding the fate of the disgraced music mogul. Diddy pleaded not guilty to racketeering, sex trafficking, and conspiracy.
That's it for this news update. Have a great day.
Breaking news tonight, Diddy strikes back and the state braces for the defense closing arguments. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. At the courthouse, Vegas odds even. Sean Combs will spend no time behind bars, and Sean Combs will spend life behind bars.